What was wrong? What's wrong with Canada? Mr. Trudeau, we all thought that he was an aberration, that he was a man-child, or I guess he voted in because of his looks, because he showed no intellectual ability. He was kind of very vindictive. We saw that with the trucker strike. But everybody thought, if you look at terms of per capita income and GDP, unemployment, inflation, military expenditures, and NATO promises, relations with us, you got the impression that Canada was stalled, and that the conservative elements that had once been with this great Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, who was gifted, a free market advocate, and really had Canada going in the right direction after a decade, I suppose, that they wouldn't go back to this failed. But who are we to speak? We had, under the first 3 years of Trump, everything was going well, and then we got rid of that, and we got somebody who was Obama on steroids as far as policy. That is, whoever was, signing with the auto pen the Biden initiatives. So I think that, and Donald Trump does not like Pulev. He doesn't like him, and I don't know why he doesn't. I think his attitude is he's a conservative, so he should be kind and favorable to me, but he doesn't understand Canadian policy. He understands Canadian policy, but he doesn't appreciate the situation he's in. The conservatives is that people are angry at the United States because the United States has been saying to Canada, you're spending 1.37 on your defense expenditures. You are one of only 8 nations that refuses to honor your 2014 promises to spend 2% of GDP. And this is especially shameful for you because in World War II, you had the 3rd largest navy in the world for a while. You had your own beach at Normandy. You were the Dieppe raid, you suffered, you were courageous, and now to see this, and our open border has always been secure, and it was not secured by Trudeau on your part. And you're running anywhere, depending on how you figure it, a $63 to $100 billion surplus. You've got asymmetrical tariffs. And so when Trump emphasized those, all of what I just said, but, in the Trump art of the deal, it's loser, 51 state, then it made it impossible for a conservative to object to what the liberals were saying about Trump, because then they would say that he was a Trump puppet. So then he was critical, or more critical, of Trump, and that meant that Trump was critical of him, and so he lost. It was a lose-lose situation for the conservatives. If they objected to what Trudeau has done, and Carney, is that his name, Carney? Yeah, Carney. If they objected to that, then they were on the side of the United States. I mean, if they were supported Trump and they objected to everything, they were on the United States. If they joined the liberals to denounce Trump, is pretty much what they did, then there was no difference between them. They were not able to articulate a particular view. They were just lumped in, well, if you feel like the liberal people do, and Carney doesn't like Trump, and you agree with him, then why change governments? So it was a very hard thing to do, and yet Trump couldn't come out and endorse the conservatives, because then that would be the kiss of death. And it was very hard, if you look at the art of the deal, no one, and we talked about this, I wrote about it, nobody believed that he was going to invade Panama. But on the other hand, nobody believed that Obama or Biden or anybody had any ability to force the Chinese back out of Panama. And that what Panama was doing was they were being intimidated by the Chinese. They brought in, like a guest they brought in and wouldn't leave. And they had port facilities at the entry and the exit that were used for espionage and mercantile, a whole thing. So Donald Trump said we might have to reject that, renew. Panamanians got nationalistic. Long story short, there's a 50-50 chance that this BlackRock deal will go through, and there will be an American company for the first time in years, that will be controlling the entry and exit, and the Panamanians will be relying on our defense, and China will be... Nobody would have been able to do that, but Trump did it by this rhetoric. Same thing with Greenland. We want Greenland. Nobody ever thought he was going to absorb Greenland, but after it was all said and done, Denmark put in an extra $1 billion at the disposal of its colony, its North American colony. And we do have a base there, and the Greenland people got more autonomy, and it worked. And the same thing with, I don't know yet, with Canada. But in the process of all this, it gets chaotic. But I don't think anybody in Canada ever believed that they were going to be the 51st state. What Trump was saying is, you people have disappointed us. You running surplus with your friends. You didn't patrol your border with your friends. You didn't arm as you were supposed to with your friends. You would just be better off as a 51st. And just as a footnote to that little rant, nobody wants Canada to be a 51st state. That would be like getting California and Oregon and Massachusetts on steroids as a state.
If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our latest content.